to start this project, you're going to need 2 pieces of white wool felt. Wool felt works best, and it's available on my website if you're interested. And then you're going to want to make a template. Your template's going to look somewhat like a large fat pear. Okay, we're going to take this template and we're going to trace around it with a pen, just a regular, normal pen, no high-tech equipment needed. Okay, and we're going to just take our scissors and cut crudely around it. Do not cut on the line. You want you want to sew on the line for this project. So just leave it something like this. Okay, now you need your other template, which is this egg yolk template, which is about 1 3/4 in diameter. Then you're going to take that yolk template and you're going to put it on a piece of yellow wool felt, which is also available on my website. And you're going to trace around it again. But notice for this one you don't need to double up your fabric, you just need 1 layer, whereas with our egg we have 2 layers of fabric here. Then we're going to cut on the line. So we end up with a 1 3/4 inch in diameter circle. At this point in the project we have our egg white and our yolk. Now we're ready to get out the sewing machine. So now we've loaded our sewing machine with white thread because we're going to be sewing on our white wool felt. And we're going to take our egg and we're going to put it in the sewing machine. And notice that we're going to be sewing on the line. This is very important for this lesson. We are sewing on this pen line that we made. Work your way around, go nice and slow. Now, if you go off the pen line a little bit, that's not a big deal. Think of the pen line more as a guide that you want to try and stay on. Okay, we've sewn it completely around, all the way around, so we ended up where we started. Now we're going to cut about 1/8 of an inch around that seam line. For a lot of my projects I like to sew first and then cut rather than cut and then sew, which is a more typical way of sewing. But for these projects and all of these curly designs we kind of make at Lilly, it works better to sew on the line. You're going to take this egg and you're going to pinch it and pull it like this so you kind of separate the 2 layers, because you only want to cut through 1 of the layers. And you want to make a cut, I don't know, no more than 1 inch big. Now you're going to flip this inside out through that little hole. And I have what I call a stuffy stick, which is just a little dowel. I've sharpened the end and then taken sandpaper to the end of it. And you get one of these if you order a kit on my website. So now I'm going to take it through here and stuff it like this. Now after I've flipped it inside out, I'm going to run this stick along the inside of the egg to pop out these stitches a little bit and make my egg flatter. And I'm going to run my fingers back and forth like this to give it a smooth edge so that it all looks uniform. And then this is what it should look like at this point. Now we're going to sew this hole closed, and we don't want to go through the back. We want the back to stay smooth. So we're going to go in like this, and we're using white thread to do this because I always believe in using whatever color fabric you're sewing on, to use a color that matches that fabric. And we're not going to pull this really tight because we don't want to create dimples in our egg. We just want to very gently sew this hole closed, just because it gives it a nice finished look and feel when it's done rather than leaving it open. Now I'm going to put yellow thread in my needle. So if you put a couple of knots in, then it won't go through. Now you're going to take this circle here. You're going to kind of line it up so that you're covering that open spot where you've sewn that hole closed. So once you have a good idea of where it's going to go, you're going to take your needle, which has the yellow thread on it, because we're now going to be sewing on yellow fabric. And you're going to start from the bottom side of the yoke. You're going to come out. Kind of pick where you want it to come out. Maybe about an eighth of an inch from the edge. Okay, now you're going to go through both layers of the white. So you come up the back. You're going to angle your needle and come out a different spot under the yoke. So you're coming out a different spot. Now we're going to just gently give that a nice tug, because you do not want it to be loose. Again, you're going to go through to the back of the fabric here. You're going to angle and you're going to come out. What this does is it makes the stitches that are showing straight and the stitches that are not showing are going to be angled. And you're just going to work your way all the way around, angling behind and going straight across. So if you see, you're going to go straight across here, angle, and come back out again. Let's speed this up a little. Now when you get to this point where you have, I don't know, a little less than an inch left to go in your sewing, you want to stop. You want to leave it like this. Don't cut your thread, don't tie anything, just stop sewing around the circle, because we need to stuff a little bit of polyfill into the circle. So you're going to take just a little polyfill and you're going to hold this stitch as you do it, otherwise it could come loose because we haven't tied anything there. And you're going to just gently stuff that little hole. Okay. Now, just kind of stuff it more to one side than the other. And then we're going to finish up our sewing. It's a little bit more difficult now because now you have this stuffing kind of trying to force its way open. But you can do it. Just take your time and go around the circle. Now when you finish, go back through that where that first stitch is. Come back around, go out the back. But instead of angling out this time, we're going to tie off this from the back. Okay, so now we have, this is what the back of the egg looks like, and we still have this string attached here. And what we're going to do is push it back through, have it come out in a different direction. We're going to pull it tight, and then we're going to cut. That's my little trick for hiding the tail. So now we don't have these little threads sticking out here because they're hidden inside of the egg. And there you have it. There is your finished lily bean egg. And to make it even more pretty, you can just take an iron and very gently iron around the egg, and that will make it look nice and flat and beautiful and ready to give to a kid you know. Well, I hope you had fun making our little egg project today, and that you come and visit my website for all your wool felt needs and to learn fun new projects. I'll be making more projects and displaying them on YouTube real soon, so please come back. Oh, and one more thing, could you please only make Lilly Bean Play food for fun and not for profit, because I'd really like to stay in business. Thanks.